coming out of your last game, your coach said that was the most engaged he's seen you all season long. Did you feel that way, and what do you need to do tonight in order to build on that?
Yeah, it felt good. I think just moving my feet and being confident and making plays, and there's no secret sauce really. Just try to create some stuff and also be relied on defensively. So it's nothing crazy.
Despite the outcome of Wednesday's game, the team felt like that was one of the best games that you guys have played, especially that second period. What are some of the things that you guys need to continue to build on in order to get that result here tonight?
Yeah, I think we played a really solid game, and we had them on their heels a lot, and I think a lot of that is the speed that we can play with, and we watched some video and just how committed everyone was to moving their feet, not standing still, and being structured within that. So that's more the way we'd like to play, and unfortunate result, but I think if we play like that most nights, we'll get what we're looking for.
I remember last year you had, I think, 2 points in your first 8 games, so it's a bit of a slow start, and by the end of it, you led all defensemen. Are there any similarities between last year and maybe the way this year started out?
Maybe.
Short window, it was only like 3 or 4 where you were getting points, but now.
Yeah, I've gone 3 or 4 games a million times in my career without a point, so. it's we're back to a full schedule, and it's a long season, and there's highs and lows, and they come at different points. And I mean, I guess if we were 5-0, and I guess if we want to call that a low, then sure, I'll take that all day. But yeah, I think you're just everyone's just trying to play as well as they can all the time, and sometimes something's not clicking or whatever the case is. But I feel good, and just we got a lot of hockey left, so just try to be as consistent as you can, and limit those streaks with nothing going on to few as possible.
For offensive defensemen, the notion is that when they're not scoring points, they still have to be a valuable guy and make a positive impact. Is that the side of your game that is maybe underrated, or do you feel you need to work?
I guess that's for others to decide. I think I'm a pretty good player. It's been I've been 600 and something games and had some good seasons under my belt. So I hope even if I'm not producing, I could still bring some other stuff to the table. But yeah, I'm at a point in my career now where I just want to win, and whatever that is to the team and whatever that looks like on the ice, I'm willing to do it. So I'm trying to do what I can every night, and some nights obviously go a little better than others.
Last year, your first year in Edmonton, you helped quarterback the best power play in the league. This year, how much more does it help having a little bit more experience with the guys that you're playing with? And now you guys are clicking at a 43% rate.
Yeah, this power play it's awesome, and it's fun to be a part of, and to come in and be comfortable on it is nice. And I think the beginning of last year, I guess we're talking about that. We were snapping it around pretty good, but couldn't get anything to go in, and we're getting something to go in this year, and we're off to a good start. And it's just it's a pretty incredible power play, and it's fun to watch and fun to be a part of. So we just try to keep that going.
As you guys met with Don here last night, would you say it was a productive meeting?
Yeah, I think it was a productive meeting. We had some normal business to talk about, and then obviously with everything coming to light, there was some questions and some good discussion. And the most important thing is to try to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again, and why this happened in the first place. How did it slip through the cracks, kind of thing. So very productive, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be more stuff to come out later on about what transpired and stuff. But we got a good group of guys asking the right questions and good leadership. So we'll do the right thing.
On that front, you've been part of a lot of those meetings in your 600-some games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice a difference now? Were there, the questions that got asked last night, were those questions that were going to get asked even 4, 5, 6 years ago? Or is there a change in tenor maybe among the group?
Well, you didn't have something like this to look at 4, 5, 6 years ago, right? So I think when you have a guy go through something like this, and clearly he's been sitting with it for a long time, and it seemed like there was a chance to come out and do the right thing right away. And I think guys are just reacting to what's happened. And 4, 5, 6 years ago, I don't think we would have had a reason to ask the questions we're asking now. But certainly, something like this can't slip through the cracks and get dragged out this long. So there's got to be a way to handle it better, and that's for everyone involved in it. And I think it's tough. You're talking 10 years ago now, so people are trying to remember what's going on and stuff. But it's it'll get taken care of as it should.
Sorry to interrupt. So is it fair to say that today's player wants some answers, like not just you, not just your team, but today's player is looking to find out what happened?
Yeah, but again, I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, those players would have wanted answers too. So it's just you never, you kind of take situations as they come, and to my knowledge, just we haven't dealt with anything like this since I've been in the league. So yeah, there's certainly got to be accountability where it needs to be, and I think guys are committed to getting that, and I think our leadership is, and the NHLPA is. So yeah, that's all we can really say on that.
Was this a regular scheduled meeting and came up in conversation, or was it specific to what happened in Chicago?
No, it was regular schedule. We were going to go over some PA stuff and all the business side of it, and obviously with everything going on, it was it needed to be talked about, and it was addressed, and it was an open forum, and there was nobody was trying to hide anything, and it was just a good, honest discussion. And I think there'll probably be more of that down the road.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Smith ready to be your goalie tonight or not?
No, Koskinen will play tonight.
Are you, you get a 5-0 start, you lose a game. Is there something that a coach says or does or wants his team to focus on so it doesn't turn into 2? Is that something that you use as a coaching tool?
We concentrate more on how we're playing. We were winning some games where there were some things we could do a lot better, and we lost the games when we liked a lot of things we did. So you balance that out. We're preparing to come play Vancouver tonight. They've lost a couple in a row. We've lost one in a row, so we'll see who can get the win tonight.
With Smith's situation, he's just like still a day-to-day kind of thing?
Day-to-day, yeah. Day-to-day. We just decided to give him an extra day. He's going to get some work this morning out there. He'll practice tomorrow, and we'll see where he is on Monday.
Skinner backs up.
Yeah.
Now, statistically, Nugent Hopkins' numbers are up. I mean, he's not all about points, but do you notice anything in his game that's different from last year when, offensively the numbers were the same?
It's hard to say with Nuge. He does so many things in the game that, are positive aside from the numbers. So I think you tend to you don't notice that as much. But that being said, our power play's been pretty good. He's a big part of that. I think our whole team has played a little better there. He's back with Draisaitl for most of the year here. He had a little bit at center, but he's played solid. He's played very solid and chipped in some points. So he's off to a good start this year.
You already alluded to the fact that it's about the process, not necessarily about the results. Are you at all concerned that Kailer Yamamoto isn't getting the results, even though that line's been decent 5v5?
Yeah, you're concerned about production for sure. Like you're looking at some of the other things he's doing, and he's contributing even though he's not getting points. But that being said, you're playing on a line where you're, it's one of your top 2 lines. You think at some point he's got to start contributing. Now, we've talked about it. He's around some chances. We got to start getting some results there, though.
Last season, towards the end of the year, Tyler Benson got some time on the PK down in Bakersfield. Based on practice yesterday, it looked like he might be in.
Yeah.
Is there any thought to your penalty killing's top 5 in the league right now? Would he get worked into that equation?
We'll see how it goes tonight, depending on how many penalties there is, depending who the penalties are against. We've got a little bit of a rhythm of the guys in the lineup right now that we like, so we'll see how it goes. But he has the experience to do that now. We did a little bit with him in preseason, so it wouldn't be foreign to him if he jumped in and did it.
Just piggybacking off of that, Dave, what do you need to see from Tyler Benson in terms of his skill set and his tools, and what he needs to utilize to stay in the lineup?
Well, we're looking for, we've tinkered around with that bottom line a little bit. We're trying to find a bit of an identity for it. He's looked in preseason in the game he played in Vegas. He's like an energy player. He brings energy. He's quick out there. He's on top of loose pucks. So we'll see if we can we'd like to see that line, even though they haven't got a lot of minutes. We'd like to see them generate a little more energy for us, and that's an area he could excel at.
Dave, I just wonder, with going back to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, if you notice anything differently when he plays the wing versus center, and did you like to kind of switch it up in order to get him more, more responsibility and whatnot in the defensive zone? Well,
if you watch him when he plays wing with Draisaitl, those two guys, it's similar as with McDavid and Draisaitl play together. They read off each other well. So Nuge does a lot of things that a centerman does when he's with Draisaitl. Even though he is on the wing. So it makes the transition back and forth very easy for them. But Nuge, that's the thing that's really good about Nuge. He reads off people. He cleans up messes. He's a smart player that way. So I don't notice a ton different, other than he takes a lot less face-offs when he's on the wing, but he still does a lot of the same smart things in the game.
With Tyson Barrie, there's been a lot of talk about him and Bouchard and playing them different minutes and different roles. As I understand, Tyson's a guy who is very low maintenance, doesn't complain about anything. Is that something you've seen from him as well?
Very much. He understands what There's positions that I know he wants to be in because he thinks that's his strength, and there's positions that he understands other guys might do a better job than him in. And that's being a good teammate. That's being a guy that just accepting what we're doing to try to win. And Tyson's a good player. Like he's a good player. You don't get the most points in the league for a defenseman without being a good player. So, but we're trying to find the rhythm of our defense, try to find where everybody fits in, and where we can maximize the ability of each guy. And Tyson understands that, just like all the other defensemen understand it on our team. All right, thanks, guys.
Brian, a lot is obviously made about where you play in the lineup and a lot of guys moving around. Do you feel much of a difference between when you play center and when you play wing in terms of how you approach the game?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a bit of a different game. I mean, as a centerman, you're involved a lot on the defensive side of things, and you're playing more a full ice game. And as a winger, you're obviously defensively you're still cognizant, and you got to make sure that you're watching your D-men and stuff. But you're not as involved defensively, so it is a bit of a different game. But I mean, I wouldn't say I prepare too much differently. I mean, mentally, I know whether I'm playing center or wing. So, and I think I've had enough time where in both positions now to be comfortable to be able to jump back and forth.
I remember a few years ago you said you'd like to kind of think back to those San Jose teams where you had Gordon and Marlowe and Ventura and who else you moving around different positions. I think maybe the team's probably better equipped to have you move around, and a lot of guys maybe be slotted in different spots. Do you feel like that makes more sense the way this team's constructed right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have a few other guys that kind of go back and forth too, and that's a good point. I mean, those teams that I used to play when I first came in, not just San Jose. I mean, a few other teams. They had a lot of centermen kind of bouncing back and forth, and really, I mean, playing with Leon or Connor. There's a lot of talk. I mean, if I do end up being low, I mean, we're kind of interchanging a lot, so. It's not too much of a just stagnant. I'm a winger, so I'm only staying on the wing kind of thing. So, yeah, I think we have a really deep team here that a lot of guys can play different positions, and I think that definitely goes a long way.
Do you think that helps with the power play too? They call it road hockey power play. You guys are always kind of moving around doing different things.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's usually when we're our best on the power play is. Road hockey is a good way to describe it. Just kind of we're getting loose pucks. We're just playing instead of worrying too much about the structure of things. And yeah, I think it helps that everybody can kind of go into different positions.
All right. You're a guy that they describe as points not being the sum of your game. You do a lot of things away from it. Last year, your numbers took a bit of a dip. This year, it's 9 points in 6 games. Small sample size, but do you notice anything different? Why you're
I don't know. I mean, last year I was a little disappointed with my offensive production. I thought the year before I was where I definitely finished the year how I wanted to be, and I do feel like I can be effective at both sides of the rink, and part of that is producing offensively. So. I mean, obviously, we've had a good start as a team. Our power play's been good, and our lines have been clicking early, so that obviously helps. And I mean, I'm still goalless. I got to find a way to put some in, and I've had a few good looks. Just got to find a way to bury them. But no, feeling good about the individual game. But more importantly, I think things are clicking for our team right now. So we got to keep that going.
this power play, I mean, there's a lot of good players in the league. A lot of teams have multiple good players, but no teams have clicking along at 30% good 3 years in a row, not at 40. What is it about this particular group that you're able to sustain for years?
Well, I think I touched on it a little bit before. I think we just kind of play, and we have a lot of freedom. I mean, obviously, there's plays that are given to us, and so that we do have an idea of what to do, what to look for against other teams. But I think the big thing is we just play. We have good chemistry together. We've had pretty much the same unit for a few years now, and. So we know each other well. We know each other where each other's going to be. It doesn't really matter which position we're in. We kind of just know where each other's going to be, and Obviously, we kind of stick with it and don't get too frustrated when we get down. If we don't score 2 or 3 power plays in a row, we just kind of stick with it and push a little bit harder to get that next one.
Does that become almost the primary focus of the team is what you guys are able to do on the power play?
No, I don't think so. I think that the power play, special teams in general, is always a huge help. I mean, it goes a long ways, but no, I would say our 5-on-5 play is what drives our team. And I thought against Philly, obviously didn't win, but I thought first 2 periods, especially the way that we played 5-on-5, is going to give us a lot of success in the future.
Your team met with Don here last night. You've been part of a lot of those meetings over 10 years. With what's gone down recently with the Calgary situation, what was it like last night? How were the questions?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of talk about it. Obviously, it's disappointing the way that things have been handled to let it get 10 years away. But I mean, there's a little bit of talk about it, but also kind of talk about other things within the league. So yeah, it's a hard conversation to have, and obviously it's you feel terrible for Kyle, and I mean, I'm glad that now he's able to come forward and move on and hopefully start to put it behind him at least.
Is there a different tenor among today's NHL player? Like, was there maybe a time when guys just didn't pay as close attention? Things like this cause the average NHL player to kind of dig in here and pay a little closer attention to what's going on with the union and with the game.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I wasn't even in the league at that point yet. I was kind of just starting in the league. I think in today's society, I think in general, I think there's more focus on having people come forward and opening up, and I think that's a great thing. And holding people accountable is huge, and I think that's how we have to move on with our society for sure.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan.